Hello. I'm live streaming a few recordings of Tàijíquán Tip. Today's Tàijíquán Tip behind the scenes, and you can't see my full setup here. You can see my little hedgy executive director and assistant executive producer. Got some hot Joe, some hot sun overhead and on my back a little bit when I turn. Got a funky setup of glare reduction blankets, pillows, towels, and such, so it could all fall down mid filming. I don't know, it is what it is. I have two iPads set up. One is a backup, a third iPad, which is the smaller version, like 9x7. That one is the one that I'm actually filming on, or will be filming on. And I got my iPhone set with a clock. So I'll tell you a little bit about what this practice is. So for me, it's about reaching out to people that don't reach out to me. Maybe they don't have time, maybe they haven't fit it into their discipline and their schedule and their mind, maybe they don't have money, maybe they're off-site or some combination. And I noticed in this COVID era, much easier for people to disconnect, not reconnect, not stay connected to their art, to their practice. And I'm just kind of setting up the headphones here on the other device to start recording. Speaking of which, you won't hear me as well as the final recording, because the microphones will be going to the final recording. You guys will just get whatever ambient we can pick up, but I'll tend to film these, 10 to 20 feet away and then come up close. And it's not terribly windy, so I think you'll hear fine. I haven't figured out how to mic to both things at once. Anyway, people disconnecting, not connecting in the first place, failing to reconnect, failing to stay connected, that sort of thing in this COVID era. And I thought, I need to try and reach out to them. I need to put something out there that's free, that's brief, and that they can return to. Like these go on YouTube, on Patreon. People can just return to them as they like. I also posted a whole bunch of them on Instagram and TikTok and on Facebook, of course. So they're there to be found. Not each one is for you. Not each one is for you right now where you are. That's fine. So you can skip. It's a couple minutes, I aim to do them under 3 minutes because that's TikTok's limit. That was the sort of thinking. But the other pit of thinking for me is that in the COVID era, I became busier than ever. Certainly not getting paid more than ever, just busier. And sort of losing a lot of people in terms of staying with studies, losing a lot of people in terms of they're dead, losing a lot of people to sort of the psychology of fear, around the pandemic, which is somewhat sensible and certainly natural. And losing a lot of money myself, of course, that's all part of it. And so far I've stayed healthy, so that's certainly a nice blessing. So I thought, I'm busier than ever, fewer people than ever. I know that sounds weird. Losing money, losing touch with people. Let me see if I can just find a couple minutes in my day and just hit record and offer a lesson, and then kind of limit myself to 3 minutes of post-production, where I kind of put a filter on or a couple filters, edit it a little bit, give it a name, and upload it. So my kind of total time is 5 minutes or something like that. Probably take a few more minutes overall when I share it, when it publishes live, and I have a list of everyone that I've done, so I have to do that and then transfer them to the hard drive and sort of label them and save them, so it takes some more time, but I can kind of find that time later. In terms of just getting the lesson out, it just goes quick. So the idea is, can I kind of interstitially offer a lesson to people that aren't here to get the lesson? Can I, have a student leave and I have the next student coming in 5 minutes? Can I just, without writing a script, getting the lighting perfect, getting everything, just hit record, offer something? Maybe while I'm going to the bathroom or heating up my tea, I can set it to put a filter on it just so it looks a little different. Then when I come back, a couple button pushes, it starts uploading. Great. I have, if you watch one a day, I have over a year's worth now. And of course, today's Tàijíquán Tip is designed to be a double entendre. Tip is suggestive of, here's an offering, here's a lesson, here's a corrective, here's a creative view on things. But also, hey, if you can, please leave a tip, right? So at the end of each, I append ways that you can, PayPal or Venmo or Cash App or all that kind of stuff. Anyway, in keeping with that sort of 3-minute idea, what I do is I set my phone with a timer. Usually I do. Actually, that'll probably give you a little reflective of the view of the everything around me here. Sometimes I kind of know it's just going to be 1 minute and 5 seconds or something, so I don't set my timer. Other times I think, oh boy, I could go on and on here. Let me set the timer so when I'm looking at the camera, I can see it creeping up to 3 minutes and kind of cut it off. Many of these lessons could be entire workshops. Speaking of which, if you want me to host a workshop online or in person, an hour or two all day, a lot of these Tàijíquán tips could probably serve as a seed for an entire workshop. But again, 3 minutes. So one of the things that you may be able to see in Tai Chi Tips and behind the scenes, the way we're doing now, is that I'm going to take under 3 minutes to film, and then probably a few seconds break, maybe chat with you, have a sip of my coffee, and then do the next one. I don't know how many I'm going to do. I don't even know what they are. There's no script. I'm going to just hit record, and as I walk over there, I'll think of something I trust, and then I'll do the lesson. And so the format of the lesson is as if you've kind of come upon me practicing. So I just kind of start myself moving a little bit in some way. It's not related to the lesson. Then I introduce the lesson, which I might demonstrate. Often I don't. I'm just talking. And then I'll walk over to the camera and hit stop. And usually I'll keep talking to the camera as I do that and see if I can come up with some other unrelated bit of, or perhaps related, but some other bit of wisdom that needn't be related to the lesson as I hit stop. So maybe you get two thoughts in the whole piece. And then I just do record again, and I'll see if I can knock out 3, 4, 5, or 6 of these or whatever it is, and that'll be a preview for you guys. These won't go live until something like mid-August or first week August, something like that. Right now, is that right? Yeah. Or no, maybe almost September. I don't remember. I'm a few months ahead, so I have something like 60 of these already posted, but not published. So they're scheduled to go live every day. So I'm quite a bit ahead. So whatever I tape today will show up in, I don't know, 75 days or whatever it is. So you're getting a little sneak peek. Obviously, commenting, subscribing, sharing, coming in for a class, donating, all that kind of stuff is greatly appreciated. But anyway, let's get started. I just want to give you something of an explanation of what it is I'm doing, and then we'll give this a try. So I hear myself in my headphones, so this is working, and then we'll give this a try in the sunshine. Hello, welcome to Someday Farm. I'm Stephen Watson here with today's Tàijíquán Tip. And today's Tàijíquán Tip is to consider that often when you practice, and I'm not thinking about at school, I'm thinking about at home, but often when you practice, you are entirely alone. Probably people in your space understand that you're practicing, and unless something's on fire, you'd like not to be disturbed. Maybe it's just 3 minutes of practice, maybe it's 30 minutes, maybe it's a whole hour, maybe it's 15 or 20, but perhaps, you know, even the cat and the dog kind of recognize this is your practice time. I just sit and watch, and then we'll go for a walk, we'll play later. But in our lives as adults, we don't often get an awful lot of alone time with ourselves. And when we do kind of get alone time, we might be absorbed in our phone or the television or a book or something. So we're not exactly present. We're alone, but we're elsewhere, and maybe with others in a sense, right? Such as with a book, I'm with the other characters. So recognizing that when I'm practicing my Tàijíquán at home, let's say not in class, I'm alone, I'm entirely alone. So today's Tàijíquán tip is to be penetratingly honest with yourself. Nobody's going to overhear it, nobody else has to know. You don't even have to do anything about that honesty. But the idea is to be penetratingly honest with yourself. Are you cruel? Are you a participant in the act of blaming? Are you short with people that you needn't be? Are you impatient? Are you prejudiced? Are you the problem somebody else is wrestling with? Are you unkind? Are you jealous? Are you harming others? Are you harming yourself? Are you eating less well than you tell people you do? Do you lie? Practicing Tàijíquán is an act of presence and often some privacy. Can we use that privacy to be penetratingly honest with ourselves? So, I'd like to say enjoy that, but I imagine that'll be hard. And to be honest with you, I'm still working on all this stuff. I'm just Steve, not Master. Thank you. So I just hit stop. I forgot to set the timer, so that's kind of curious. I usually do, but I think that's because I'm doing this sort of behind the scene things. But I'm just gonna play it back here in my ear, and it looks like since I'm here, I'll just clip off the first couple seconds of me kind of walking over, and it says 2:46, so that's fine. And usually that opening part where I'm doing some practice, if I find that I tape something that's 3 minutes and 1 second long, I can cut a little bit of the practice. Every once in a while you'll get one that has almost no practice or zero practice because I went for 3:15, so I cut off all the practice just to get the whole lesson in and not have to record it. But anyway, that's one of the ways to consider it. So I'm just opening the app up again, and hopefully it's going to work, but it's weirdly, I'm going to restart it. It kind of had, it's like a frozen screen when I returned to the app, which is not so good. Let me just make sure that my audio, it doesn't always default to the audio on, so every once in a while I record it and it just doesn't work. So we'll just try it like that and see how we do. Okay, so I just hit record. I'm going to try this again. There we go. Have a sip of my tea here. Hello. Welcome to Someday Farm. I'm Stephen Watson here with today's Tàijíquán tip. Today's a pretty simple one. Before I say it, I'd like to remind you that today's Tàijíquán tip is meant to be a double meaning. So if you're able to tip, more and more needed these days. It's how I pay the taxes. So today's Tàijíquán tip is not a plea for me. This is not me talking to my students, this is me talking in general, so it's not like a coded way for me to get something. But today's Tàijíquán tip, I'm just in the garden here, so I'm moving a couple of stones once I got closer. So today's Tàijíquán tip is to give a gift to your teacher. Maybe you often do. Maybe you do with some regularity, such as on holidays. Maybe you never have. Maybe you just did the once. This lesson is not give a gift to your teacher every single time, although maybe that's what you do. But it's to participate in the tradition. The gift doesn't have to be valuable, doesn't have to be tangible. Right? It could be a gift card for a coffee shop. It could be a note. It could be a couple pieces of fruit. It could be a big deal gift. It could be a gift where you're helping them optimize their web page online, and you spend a couple hours doing that to help their business, right? I think it's nice to differentiate between giving a gift to the school and giving a gift to the teacher. I think those are two different things, but still, participating in the tradition is really helpful and important. And this is not, again, about me trying to get my students to give me gifts. It's not about me even remotely. But it's a really powerful thing to be able to give a gift and participate in giving the teacher an opportunity to give thanks. Participate in considering what you can give and how it might give and what that meaning is to mark the relationship of it. So thank you. And remember, the greatest gift that we generally can give our teachers is our presence in class. After that, probably tuition, but the presence in class, we'll go with that. Thank you and love. So that's another one. As I was kind of saying that, I thought of another, so I'm just going to go right ahead and do that. Fueled by coffee, naturally. I already hit record, but usually what I'll do, especially if I record a few in a row, or often what I'll do, is I'll just change my hat, take my vest off, something like that, put a different hat on, whatever, just so that when I'm editing 4 or 5 at once, I can kind of quickly visually see, oh, that's that one, that's that one. I'll also probably turn this camera a little bit so that visually the background's different, which is nice just to vary it for people, but also when I'm editing, oh, this is the one with the tree in it, this is the one with the strawberries in it, this is the one with the birch in it, or whatever, and that helps me kind of quickly, and that's part of the process with this. Can I do this quickly? So I'm just going to stop so I don't have to clip that and just hit start again. Maybe I'll just do this one without a hat, just to tweak it. And I'm just confirming that we're going. Yeah, we're going. So you see that these are going to be 3 minutes or less, and the total time to film 3 of them will be like 11 minutes or 10 minutes, because just almost no time in between. But anyway. Hello, welcome to Someday Farm. I'm Stephen Watson. You're here for today's Tàijíquán tip, and so am I. So thank you. Today's tip is to participate in the tradition of giving gifts. Particularly here, I'm thinking about giving a gift to your teacher's teacher, or your teacher's 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 teacher, however far back you're able to go. Basically, you might not study with your teacher's teacher, and they might not be around nearby. They might not be teaching anymore. They might not be a fixture in the school, but perhaps you can mail something to them. Perhaps handing something to your teacher, say, can you get this to your own teacher? However you have to do it. And it might be more symbolic. It might be something on your altar, right, I suppose. But it doesn't have to be valuable, doesn't have to be even tangible. And perhaps if your teacher's teacher has passed, maybe you track down your teacher's teacher's children and you give them a gift, right? Showing them the work of their parent, their mother, their father, who taught your teacher, and how their legacy continues in you. So perhaps this is a note, perhaps it's a letter. Maybe we publish that letter, maybe on your blog, maybe in a magazine or something, in a book. you know, you make the insubstantial substantial, a book that they can buy, an article that they can download or save or something like that. The act of consecrating the thanks, memorializing the thanks, making concrete and real the thanks, I think is really important. So I'd like to thank my teachers' teachers, and I try and do it every time I practice. And I fail every time, but I try, and I'm sincere. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So that's another one. I just kind of thought of that while I was doing the other. And I think that's like different enough from the initial idea that it could be its own. You know, it's obviously the same general idea, and that's why I thought of it. Okay, let's do another one. Boom. Maybe I'll just change up, take my vest off just so it looks a little different. Maybe add it to the glare screen. Hello, welcome to Someday Farm. I'm Stephen Watson. You're here for today's Tàijíquán Tip. Today's Tàijíquán Tip is a pretty simple idea, rather easy to remember, and it is to study the language of the area that your art is from. Maybe your art stems from a few places, so you have a few choices there. It doesn't mean become fluent in the language, although sure, go ahead. It doesn't mean learn to speak it. Sure, go ahead. It could be to calligraph it. It could be to pronounce something. It could be the meaning of a word or a phrase or some words. Nice to get a whole phrase though, right? A whole sentence, something that you can share with other people in the arts. But the idea here is at least learn a word, something that you hadn't learned before, and you have to seek it out, right? It's not going to come easy to you, right? The ones that come easy to you are the ones that your teacher repeats all the time and they're in your curriculum. But just getting another little foothold or toehold in the understanding of the place that this comes from. What's special about this language? What sort of mind uses this language to convey its worldview, its perspective? Because you're conveying the worldview and perspective through the art, right? And you're probably not a native speaker. Of course, none of this tip probably applies if you're a native speaker of that art, but I suppose even if you're a native speaker, you won't know everything about that language. So there's going to be something that you can learn, an idiom, a phrase, a word, maybe it's a technical term, and really understand that. And, you know, keep it, right? Really get it so that you have it. So thank you very much. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Okay, so similar to the other one that I did, in doing that gave me another thought kind of related, so I'm gonna just go right ahead. Okay, so I'm just gonna hit record. Maybe I'll do a different hat. Part of the fun, I suppose. Actually, I think what I'll do is I'll just change the angle a little bit too, just to vary it a bit for the. See, I have to go a little further back because of the angle I need, but that's fine. Hello. Oops, it came a little too close. Hi, I'm Stephen Watson, here at Someday Farm, with today's Tàijíquán Tip, so thank you very much. This one would apply to any martial art, although it's a Tàijíquán Tip, but have a go at it, whatever your art is. Maybe it's Krav Maga or Ishin Ryu or Dong Bei Chuan or Taekwondo. But the idea here is to open yourself to some new insight or understanding about the culture of the place that your art stems from. This could be your own this could be your own culture, right? You could be studying like Western boxing and you're an American, and so the idea is to pick up a book, interview an old timer, go to the historical society, find a way to come into some deeper understanding of the culture, right? The petri dish in which your martial art grew. And perhaps it's a little more specific than that, and you try and figure out how what you can learn about the culture is reflected in the art, or how what you can learn about the culture is borne out by the art, or how what you can learn in the culture drove the art and its growth, right? So it doesn't have to mean that you become a PhD in that civilization and that culture, and maybe it's that culture at a certain kind of era, not the whole culture sort of en toto, but in an era. But we'd like to broaden our understanding of the art, and the art cannot exist without a culture. It cannot exist without some language. It cannot exist, without us. So, not to put too fine a point on it, but you're keeping this art alive. So is the culture that you're participating in nutritive for this art, or somewhat acidic? Something to consider. So thank you, and get yourself to practicing. Now, go practice now. Nope, stop listening to me. Practice. All right, so that was just another one that I thought of. So now I'm just kind of thinking something kind of similar to that, so I think I'll just jump ahead and do that. I'm not really sure how many we've done here now, but that's okay. That's okay. So let me just hit record. We'll just do another. And see, actually, why would I not have coffee if it's right next to me? I mean, yeah, that's so good. Ooh. Speaking of gifts to the teacher, the coffee I'm actually drinking was a gift from a student of mine who runs a school in upstate New York, and he mailed me this particular coffee, which is really sweet. Not for an occasion, just because it was Tuesday. It just came in the mail, and it's very fantastic. That's a gimme coffee. Okay, I'm going to just stop again since it was 37 seconds of me babbling. No point including that. Okay. I think I changed the angle, right? Yeah, so I'm over here. Hello. Good morning. Welcome to Sunday Farm. I'm Stephen Watson. You, of course, are here for today's Tàijíquán Tip. Pretty simple tip idea, but I might as well prologue this with an appeal for you to subscribe. Go to my webpage, sundayfarm.org, or go to my YouTube channel if you're not already there. Subscribe, like a few of my videos, share a playlist or two, share an individual video, perform an online review. I don't know if perform is the right word, but write an online review somewhere for me on Google or Yelp, for example. Donate some money if you can. At the end of this video, I append a series of ways, hopefully make that easy for you to kick in a couple bucks, or many bucks, I suppose, if you're rich, please. And hi. Oh. I think that didn't get on the camera. The bird just flew, picked a strawberry that was growing, and flew off. So I had a beautiful moment of like 3 feet away of the bird with the strawberry, a dark-colored bird with the strawberry in its mouth, in its beak. It's fantastic. Anyway, that's so great, like an omen. So today's Tàijíquán Tip is to participate in a ritual or a ceremony. Obviously related to your art or the culture that your art is from, or the place in the world, or something that your teacher cared about. Needn't be religious, although it could be if that works for you. It might be a ceremony that you've kind of lost touch with, or you never really did much and you saw it a few times and or you participated a bit. Maybe it's one that you create, I suppose. That wasn't quite what I was thinking. And perhaps it's one you've never learned, and so you have to go about trying to learn it, and who can help you through it. And it could be like a 2-minute ceremony, it could be a 10-minute ritual, it could be a weekend-long ritual. But I'd like to invite you to offer yourself to the power of a ritual and a ceremony, right? The legacy that it links you to, the depth of meaning, the sort of dimensions and worlds that it crosses, are similar to what we'd like to be feeling in an Tàijíquán arc. It's not simply moving the mechanics of my body around. It's, inspiring the spirit, right? Lighting a fire in the heart, etc. So I hope that one works for you. Appreciate you very much. Thank you. So that one said 309 when I was done. So that might be one of those ones where, when I look at it, which I'm doing, 314 actually. So obviously a couple seconds was me walking back, so I can cut those easily. But I have a feeling, when I started moving, it was 16 seconds in. So that means I'll have like a 258 video, 257. So that won't be much time in terms of me making the appeal. So I may, when I'm done with the live stream, I may clip a little bit more of my, pre-lesson movement. And just while I'm doing that, I'm just clipping a couple of the others. Usually I just have a couple seconds to clip off. It's me kind of hitting record, in this case taking off my vest and walking into frame before I start moving. So I just kind of, before I sort of think about a filter or anything, I usually just sort of clip. Luckily I don't have to clip the end, because usually the format is me kind of talking to the camera right up until I hit stop. So this one I could see I was talking to you guys on the live stream, gesturing, and then I step into a practice. So I'll just do the clip right there, and that'll be good. And I might as well just do, I think, this last one. It's probably not a great live stream video for you guys. Maybe I'll just kind of film one more of these. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. That looks like we did 6 or 7 anyway. I'm just looking to see if there's any questions typed, which, just in case. I'm glad you guys are joining in here. Just gonna enjoy this sip of coffee for a moment since I kind of paused. Let's see if all right, let's just kind of do one more here and see how we do. All right, hit record. It sounds like it's got my voice. I feel like I do want my hat here because of this sun. So back to the hat. Okay, and we're recording. Hello, welcome to Sunday Farm. I'm Stephen Watson, here with today's Tàijíquán Tip. Today's Tàijíquán Tip is to consider your usual routine for practice. So, I think I'll just come in to the camera for this one and just adjust it a bit so it's easier. And let's say your usual routine is 15 minutes. That's what your life gives you for practice. But in that 15 minutes, you grab a quick snack, right? A few carrot slices, a slice of cheese, quarter of an apple, a teaspoon of peanut butter or something like that. And you take your tea and you sip that. You do your form practice, right? That's what you're trying to do. And then you check your email. And then you're back to your work or your kids or your day or your whatever your tasks are, caring for your mother. So in your practice routine, let's say 15 minutes, maybe it's an hour, whatever it is, you have a sense of, I have about 15 minutes. And when I say, okay, time to practice, I always just check my email. When I get into that room, I sip my tea. I have my granola bar that I kind of eat while I'm doing the practice, and I do my form, or I do my stretching, or I do my tween knot exercise, whatever. So the Tàijíquán tip for today is to reorder that routine. You might have that same routine every time. See how the form feels if you reorder it. If you save the snack for the end of the practice period, or you put the snack in the beginning, or you finish your tea and then do the practice, or reserve the tea till the end, or whatever. Just reordering it. It doesn't change the amount of time. You still have your 15 minutes that you managed to regularly carve out. Good for you. Or 45 minutes, whatever it is. You haven't added any time when you reorder it. So see how the food and the drink and the computer time feel when you reorder, after you reorder them, right? Perhaps go back after and make a change. Maybe you realize it's actually better to do my email first, or it's better to do my email last, or whatever it is. So thank you for that. Appreciate you very much, and get to practice and share your love of the art with everybody. Okay. That one looked like it went long too, but this is sometimes what happens, especially here I am multitasking. Although it looked like it took me a minute, a little bit of time to actually kind of get to moving, like 30 seconds. So maybe ultimately the whole piece didn't take long. Yeah, 2:48. So that's doable. So I don't see any questions coming in. I think we taped 6 or 7 anyway, maybe 8. I don't know. So I'm gonna go get to my actual own practice. So thank you very much. Patreon.com/somedayfarm. I will post this BTS there, and people can join for just a couple bucks if they want to support the work that we're doing for the world, for ourselves, for our students, for our communities. And appreciate you all very, 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 very much. Thank you and love. Now get to practice. I will. This QR code takes you to our link tree, which has all of our links, among them financial support links, which is certainly going to be very helpful. We appreciate your commenting, subscribing, linking, and going to Patreon.